The Poisoned Elixir. The aroma of sizzling spices and simmering sauces filled the prestigious restaurant, Gastronomy, where Chef Auguste Dupont reigned as the culinary genius behind the most exquisite dishes in town. Diners from far and wide flocked to taste his creations, each plate a harmonious symphony of flavors. With his unrivaled talent and discerning palate, Chef Dupont had earned a reputation that extended beyond the culinary world. On a cool autumn evening, the restaurant was abuzz with excitement as the final preparations for the unveiling of Chef Dupont's latest masterpiece, the Poisoned Elixir, were underway. The renowned chef had kept the dish under tight wraps, revealing only that it contained a secret ingredient that promised to captivate every taste bud. As the evening progressed, guests filled the elegant dining room, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. The room was adorned with flickering candles, casting a warm glow on the polished silverware and crystal glasses. The atmosphere was charged with an aura of delight and intrigue. Among the esteemed guests was Inspector Charlotte Hayes, an astute detective with a passion for gastronomy. She had received an invitation from Chef Dupont himself, who held great admiration for her investigative skills. He had often sought her advice on unusual cases involving food-related mysteries. The evening reached its crescendo as the waitstaff presented the Poisoned Elixir to each table. The dish, an artful composition of seared scallops and delicate truffle foam, was plated with precision. The secret ingredient was concealed, leaving guests to wonder about its nature and purpose. Chef Dupont, with his signature tall white hat perched on his head, circulated among the tables, basking in the praise of the delighted diners. He wore an air of confidence, relishing the anticipation that filled the room. However, little did he know that this unveiling would be his last. The night took an ominous turn when Chef Dupont decided to partake in his creation, taking a small, cautious bite of the Poisoned Elixir. His face contorted in a sudden grimace, and he clutched his throat, gasping for breath. Panic ensued as the guests and staff realized something was horribly wrong. Inspector Hayes, instinctively aware that something sinister had transpired, sprang into action. She rushed to Chef Dupont's side, his face turning pale, sweat glistening on his forehead. With a raspy voice, he managed to whisper, "Poison. Find. Poisoner." Quick-thinking staff members summoned an ambulance, but it was too late. Chef Dupont succumbed to the lethal concoction coursing through his veins. The culinary world had lost a maestro, and Inspector Hayes was determined to bring his killer to justice. As news of the renowned chef's untimely demise spread, shockwaves reverberated through the gastronomic community. The mystery of the secret ingredient had taken an insidious turn, transforming a celebration of culinary brilliance into a chilling crime scene. The hunt for the poisoner had begun, and Inspector Hayes would leave no stone unturned to uncover the truth behind the Poisoned Elixir. The news of Chef Dupont's death sent shockwaves not only through the culinary world but also the entire city. The untimely demise of such a revered figure left a void in the hearts of food enthusiasts and sparked a wave of speculation. Inspector Charlotte Hayes knew that the clock was ticking to unravel the mystery behind the Poisoned Elixir and bring the poisoner to justice. With determination etched on her face, Inspector Hayes arrived at the crime scene, the elegant dining room of Gastronomy. The once lively atmosphere now carried a somber air, with evidence markers scattered across the tables. The scent of the ill-fated dish still lingered, a haunting reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. Working alongside her trusted forensic team, Inspector Hayes meticulously combed through the area for any clues that might shed light on the poisoner's identity. Her sharp eyes spotted an empty vial tucked discreetly under a side table. It bore no label or discernible markings, heightening her suspicion that it contained the deadly poison used on Chef Dupont. Meanwhile, news of the chef's demise had reached the local media, and the public was clamoring for answers. Inspector Hayes knew the importance of swift progress, not only to quell the growing unease but also to honor Chef Dupont's legacy and ensure justice for his tragic end. A culinary canvas. To delve deeper into Chef Dupont's world, Inspector Hayes sought an audience with the late chef's closest confidant and sommelier, Isabella Laurent. Isabella possessed an encyclopedic knowledge of Chef Dupont's culinary creations and the inner workings of the restaurant. If anyone had insight into the secret ingredient or possible motives, it would be her. In a quiet corner of Gastronomy, Isabella greeted Inspector Hayes with a mixture of grief and resolve. Tears welled in her eyes as she reminisced about the creativity and dedication Chef Dupont poured into every dish. Together, they delved into the secrets of the Poisoned Elixir. As Isabella recounted her experiences, she revealed that the secret ingredient had been brought to Chef Dupont by an anonymous benefactor. The benefactor had delivered a small, elegantly wrapped package containing a rare herb purported to possess otherworldly flavors. Intrigued by the gift, Chef Dupont had eagerly incorporated it into his newest creation, unaware of the peril that lay hidden within. Inspector Hayes pored over the details, mentally mapping out the potential connections. Who was this mysterious benefactor, and what drove them to taint Chef Dupont's masterpiece? Was it an act of vengeance or a sinister plot aimed at tarnishing his legacy? With a renewed sense of purpose, Inspector Hayes set out to uncover the identity of the benefactor and trace their steps. She knew that in the labyrinth of the culinary world, where passion and envy intertwined, the truth would eventually reveal itself. The hunt for the poisoner had taken an intriguing turn, and the stage was set for a culinary clash between justice and malevolence. As Inspector Charlotte Hayes delved deeper into the mystery surrounding Chef Dupont's death, a web of culinary intrigue began to unravel before her. Every lead she pursued brought her closer to the truth, but it seemed as though the poisoner was always one step ahead. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation became a relentless pursuit of justice. Inspector Hayes conducted numerous interviews with the staff of gastronomy, meticulously scrutinizing their alibis and probing for any hints of animosity towards Chef Dupont. She sought to unveil the hidden motivations that had led to the poisoning, determined to bring closure to the culinary world and the late chef's grieving fans. One evening, as Inspector Hayes pored over her notes in her dimly lit office, a flicker of inspiration ignited within her. She realized that the key to solving the case lay not in the present, but in Chef Dupont's past. She immersed herself in his memoirs, letters, and recipes, searching for the missing puzzle piece. Within the pages of Chef Dupont's writings, she stumbled upon a passage that caught her attention. It described a long-lost love, a rivalry that had simmered in the shadows. Could this unresolved feud be the catalyst for the tragic events that had unfolded? Armed with this newfound knowledge, Inspector Hayes embarked on a quest to find the missing link. With dogged determination, she traced the path of Chef Dupont's past, seeking out individuals who had once played a significant role in his life. She discovered an old sous chef who had worked alongside him during his rise to culinary stardom. The sous chef, Henri Leblanc, had vanished from the gastronomic scene years ago, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. With a stroke of luck, Inspector Hayes located Henri in a small countryside town. The years had taken their toll, etching lines of regret on Henri's face. He had long carried a bitter grudge against Chef Dupont, believing that his contributions to the restaurant's success had been overshadowed. As Inspector Hayes confronted Henri, his eyes revealed a mixture of anger and remorse. He confessed to having supplied the poison, intending to tarnish Chef Dupont's final creation and expose his perceived injustices. However, he had never anticipated the tragic consequences that would ensue. In a climactic moment of truth and justice, Henri Leblanc was apprehended, and the motive behind the poisoning was revealed. The once celebrated sous chef had succumbed to the darkness that consumed his heart, seeking retribution in the only way he knew how, by poisoning the very dish that had defined Chef Dupont's legacy. As the final chapter of The Poisoned Elixir closed, Inspector Hayes reflected on the intricate dance between passion and danger that unfolded within the culinary world. She vowed to remain vigilant, protecting the artistry of food from those who would taint it with malice. Welcome to Killer Tales, the home of gripping murder stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. We appreciate your support and the time you spend with us. If you enjoy our content, we kindly request you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.